Chino, me nimdientia, on my chile say, menue. Because I know beyond the bit me have forms. Now I have forms. Open for forms. Now I get you say, eh, beer, we are wine, and now we are wine. Me get you say, Maria.
Okay. You levy some prostitution. Talk of 4 baby hook up and I fell hook up. Hook up 4 baby nega, not so super clear to Ilevia. I buy to a your tax one.
That's illegal. Illegal. You know you are a parliamentarian.
Which one is illegal?
Prostitution.
I'm planting illegal. Ghana.
There be Usi 2 Ashawo. Me say
when I catch her, me see hook up.
Prostitution means Ashawo.
Then I be on the floor, now say hook up, and I planting.
Ashawo.
I'm planting illegal.
There be hook up. Ni nyina Ashawo.
Me dem say I'm planting. I'm not be also no see them quite say you know Christo ni. So to find praba kun kan oyire ho.
The problem of Ghana nyina NDC. Ghana problem of power NDC. Ghana problem NDC. Sa party na for NDC no. Ni problem. Ye me say problem of Ghana nyina NDC. Ada Ghana for better sa asem na se no. Ye be koyenim. Because sa to trust them ya bo ye hwim ballot boss. I say nyina ye NDC for.
I say you know say doctor.
Hey, oyo
me party you know.
Me say oyo na dey yankura.
I say doctor.
Me say oyo some people say we go for police say you for some people that they encourage so be mun can me because say yes to own up now o can I encourage na onu an kan asem na o kan no to your kan no o say na zo ka for boys ni shekam I dey bet you that so ka for boys ni ko some ko yeden aba ne yeto waso ni pedo be bukam so om ko yeden what were they going there to do
it will also no ya me say wo mu nyina
opa on su yakopon anim no swear before God Almighty no ga senyo onwa so gina midi me dem ga so ko bosom ho opa on swear over Bible kuta no on this o yakopon mi ga senyo onwa wa ye sa nyama we ama tutu asem we kosi ye akse ke kumobi ono ma na je se wo no me kumni pa no
ya titi fetu ya disto tete amane a mo se nkofo bi ditu abaha Intibra NPN no
Needs FM
atu no ama etu aka emrantie mienu bi ya rache wo mo eko hospital enunti ehwa na mema ye friend regional police commander ema yen na ye bona mani enti eja regional chairman hotel oni regional police commander no eni kita ho na ye nko hospital hong kong a grapho no say the atom nti say sia na me free convanoche hospital ho aba e ko to say nipa mienu ani aba omutuo ba ayenya medie ana ba ko to emergency a omo ye ne ho adwuma na basis abridged enya identify
Small ya, monche ye politicians there, ye they are no yet. Honestly, and tokwa si wo Ghana nyina na man amansani nyina nye obi ana di bo. Enye man any politicians. Asemba ko obeka wo tekrema so no e chense kan. I want to tell you, do your politics well. Don't let politicians deceive you. Mu hu ye se ye wono wani eji echinji a ye nko ntokwa o. Ye wi a ye frustra ko numti nam ne ye wi mo ana moko me catch them on okware. There are people here enne wo mu humia wo mu si wo mu ti ase osafumafo o himfa enye MPP ni nua kuma agyemafo o NDC Shelia Ite o NDC no minister ni nua penny Professor Ite o MPP NDC lawyer Larry Ajeti o NDC ne papa waka baby Peter Lajeti o MPP Samuel Jinapo o himfa o MPP ni nua penny John Jinapo o NDC mi ami gina hai mi o MPP mi nua penny Kamara o he o NDC yesi ye dapo na mo dapo mi martina mi gina o me ka kire mo anoko mi hu opposition da o me party dia wa ko opposition ba mi nkasa mi ko opposition look o mu na ti wono look mi hu opposition da me party MPP a ko opposition ba me dia mi ko opposition because NDC wo power mi didi Kamara me ko no ho ma mi score be ma me and then me were power. Be being here now, or be frame. Ya kasada na my opposition no. And Timon dream. My party and my that's the only thing.
President Akufo-Addo promise say about a lean government. And in the history of Ghana's politics, the biggest size of government, President Akufo-Addo, about 125 ministers. Ghana for me bar, maybe better to so he amanako 80. The betrane say, yeah, reduce the pressure on the public purse. 45 na yet free so no. Every minister be a kakeke ye demono 1.2 million Ghana cedis. Not just ye be save Ghana for 54 million Ghana cedis over 550 billion old Ghana cedis and a president mama say oba obe kati ministers yes save says kakakawe e the ama Ghana for you bet me the investing in what schools are and kwala eco school to yeah complete sa schools ni na man kwala ni na ko free SHS ni free uko hospitals ama for nyam pan na so president mama say says kawe me be save na yetumi aboa ye di mpuntudwuma ma ya ye eniama ba kono de etwato o se kokwa akuafo mu bre okomi ankasa mikrom nkasa mkrengo okomi o president mama ko mikrom o se me ba ha me won se kuya pa na mo ye kofo ene ho ye because president na me de mamu free no president Akufo-Addo ba ya abro ehene wo se wo to mamu 80 Ghana cedis
okasa about Ebola how many countries even Africa even Africa Ebola wasn't a pandemic. What you say? And even that Ebola, a friend is saying Ebola amagano. As what to me the Ebola vaccines about my ekoji who sikadi. As if na mo bomb pa say precautionary measures. What precautionary measures? What do you call property now? What do you even now, the fact to say they were being catered for. Social media, social media, it is everywhere. It is everywhere. The argument is everywhere. We see. Because as at the time, now so it means that they have been catered for very well.
Can you imagine?
0.9.
I promise to be faithful and loyal to God and I pledge myself to the service of the Lord with all my strength and with all my heart.
The best station in the capital.
In our heritage won for us through the blood and sword of our fathers. And I pledge myself in order to uphold and defend the whole name of God. So help me, Lord. I promise to hold in our heritage won for us through the blood and sword of our fathers. And I pledge myself in order to uphold and defend the whole name of God. So Siri
Right, Yamagana phone na kwaba edebani 100.9. Na mbejede se bibia boko de. Ena nwumre yetena se adwumadi a ye friend Torchlight. Ena ye de brew e wodi 100.9 so. Ye de Torchlight ye de brew we benada ene ye wada bia. Ena yetena se ye amanyo sem kama. Ena ye baba beye na yetemi e de akyekere oman no. Wedi tua se ene no se wo ho na sa wonye wadwen se ye nyina ye betena se na ye nyina yetimi akeka ye ho abom na ye de apushi omanamana konkan a oman ni jigu a menu mienu nyina na etim oman no se jigu a menu mienu nyina na etim eduti ene abane sa no eyade a menu mienu ye beka bom na ye ho kwan pa ye befa so na yetimi de oman no akonkan within the Magjerio OSEI AGYEMANG. Video bibia se media seda be ma pious be the bansen. Na wo mi obene wa. Omo de bo mi chido ma yedi dwumadie. Yede ebrewa we need 100.9 so. Na kwasi aboaje na mi supervisor. Enreche ne nso no eye Dr. Father Dixon na ono ena oye the executive producer na no ache ne so me general manager Kennedy Asante OSEI de body chido. And now one of the critical issues say about behwe ayo menyi bambo emunsem. Omenyi bambo emunsem. Na se wuche enkrata eda medimu a ene ye yo ena National Security Ministry of National Security womo eden krata yi womo sign dia ba beto abonten na mamenken kan efa maw na minchire mu efa maw ene sen ose enhancing security at public places. The Ministry of National Security would like to draw the attention of the general public to the growing threats of terrorism in our sub-region and urge everyone to be vigilant and extra careful about their personal and communal security. Etienne, eye asweye boy koko se obie ni beda hwane ya hwe yie papa. Edi afa e bambo mu nsem ho enam se tuate domfuo bi a enei eye aman akodo ebemben yen wo makwa ye wo no mani bi yo ho no ene Ghana no said etie no enya mama so wo betima ba awura mu wa ha. Many of our neighbors have unfortunately suffered attacks from the terrorist groups as the activities have spread from the Sahelian region towards the coastal West African states. Our immediate neighbors Burkina Faso, La Côte d'Ivoire, and Togo have all experienced such attacks, and we have to recognize that our country remains a target as the security services work to keep us all safe. The ministry is making a strong appeal for heightened vigilance in areas of mass gatherings, especially at public places of entertainment and worship, such as churches and mosques. The employment of guards and security gadgetry and lighting of the areas surrounding the areas of public gatherings would all help, but nothing beats the vigilance of each of us individuals taking personal responsibility and looking out for each other. This appeal is being made because there is a good reason to believe that the terrorists operating within the region have Ghana as a target, and there is need to increase security measures and engage the public to be more careful. We urge the managers of public places and gatherings to be extra vigilant. We want to reassure the public that the security agencies and all those charged with maintaining the security of the state are working hard to ensure the safety of our country and its people, and we count on your continuing support in this endeavor. It's a way on a year krata, a free national, a Ministry of National Security, about Bontin. Answer and no match on krata be the aquacoma, a religious bodies. Say, woman ye because woman who says sorry, and so, Southway to Atidom Fui, Yan Shenia, one more Edward Madibetro, that's a Somaka, and Yadua, Ewo, a yes, and Swaya who doing. Etienne ye betenasi esi adwa ena asampote edame pono so se ene isa security alert ya ba beto dwan oman no se enya sika sadien se e-levy ma 20 billion na se etuati domi ete oman so etua menua at the end of the day the say ye ne yentimi ye oman no se we sika sadien na se etuati dom fuoi e ba be haya dwen a enya de betima nya asomdwe da e wo ye manyi enu nte na nwumre ye bisa se me ene wo at the end they say yeah because Ministry of National Security akachire yen say ye ka bambo mu nsam ne dia ye menu mienu say ye ni beda ho ye ka bambo mu nsam a menfa ni agro da bia bambo fo ne ka say ye ka ye bambo mu nsam na ye wo say wo be ya hweyi o bambo mu nsam ne no ene edi kan kura enti ene ya enkrati aba betodwa the edi kan wo me come religious bodies ene de etoso mienu ababeto dwa ni nyina ne kɔ edema minu mienu no sen ena wo fa no ede afa assurance a eye Ministry of National Security ede ama ye de fa eye sensemi ho no sen na assurance no ohu no ede fa for messages na okɔ Facebook live a eye di 100.9 FM neat 100.9 FM jumedi ni dem wo ho saranso ena wo kɔ eye WhatsApp na 050372 1744 050372 1744 Jumedi Fred Torchlight Ewodi 100.9 Yebeko ahoma so member of a parliament eye wamabedwe ku a womohwe eye bambo mu nsem so na osan eye mrahye bedwani na yeno no eni nkomo oyobi nso abambo mu nsem no wabi yie papa pa enka ne mpo na oye chotrofo panyin edema eye IGP na enkane na ono so eteso eye yewura Peter Lancheni Tobu onwa homa no so ye ni nkomo emfamfa omanyi bambo mu nsem na meni wi abedwafo de betena se na no wusu apia retired police officer member of the MPP executive director Global Intelligence and Analysis Center obabeka ye ho wa ha Richard Manurube odo so babeka ye ho wa ha member of the NDC ye ba bedi nkomo na ya hwe eye bambo mu nsem no Sain na esitie eye alert ya ba betodwa eye mia menyonko prekope minua ba kope Peter Honorable Peter Lancheni Towu Honorable memwa kwa ba na mpom tisen
Enya ma gare mpom tisen
nyame adom na beba cho musu en
nyame adom nyame de kwa che su kakra
ye de nyankopon ase na de aye bisa ne say so eye security alert a every year rakanda pa ho aba edike kwa religious bodies etosumi no general public ye tu yefo enen krata ababotodwa ayemsisi bi wo ma na efa eye se etuato domfo yi a yesusu se anhwa no mo de o mani a kire gane
ina mpacha mdase mame papa nyawo na minchia ya chiefu nyina epa pambo nsemo a ne ya make se obi anyi ne kumom na ka ne ofi se bebo gana obi anyi na sum na bisi ne bebo gana na obi bi na ne obehu bebo gana na wa kamsa Ghana ba dia yipodu no yesi tuati dom omo tinpe ye ebiasi wo mali krono ajija ebiasi wo Burkina Faso Somalia krono ajija ebiasi wo Togo Cote d'Ivoire for omo anya ne fi ena omo ase ya be shenkin ana mini apeni ono kan da ba de alert da unu sa Ghana kwa ya ba alert nye ajimo anya ade a yenim anya alert nya ade a ewo emojam na say America koko issue alert nkofo ka ho se mebre omo do mu ni alert who issue alert ever citizens what a security conscious population then maybe I told me say Ghana no they fix terrorism ade bi atete ya ade ya by about we are na anya na never go
yɛnhyɛ yɛndwene ho na ma yɛnkasa yɛadwene ne mogya ɛngye adeɛ no ho sɛ ɛyɛ adeɛ a aba let's prepare for it. The security consciousness of the Ghanaian is ɛyɛ adeɛ sɛ ɛsɛ aban ma no nimfa ho ɛma me recommend kora sɛ ɛsɛ introduce the studies of personal security at all levels. Primary school class or personal security. Me can say before Israel, I'm really at Israel, who called Jerusalem Krum. Now, I want the bag, the backfire, we got to about taken up for trouble. I've been up here. Within 5 minutes, the police was there. Oh, be a conscious. Who will be there as a government of a cockle reporting? Yeah, it is. Petrol tanker crack on your accident. Well, who could not put in your tea, or be a coffee bucket, or be a coffee jarrican, or who could separate to be a cotton, or one of boom. So this is not a security conscious nation. They were actually, and I'm expecting say a buying program now almost at most with 20 immigration form we are in charge of internal security in relation to terrorism. And only we are building the soft power of the nation, and we are building the soft power of our nation. Then you come bomb terrorism, who from one team bar, on your baby, and a common answer there. Yeah, my client, my entity be a hand say, because you know the card my back home. Now say actual letter say, Yena, I know back home. Yena, away, say, Biba. That's a Biba, be nice to ways. Biba, so good deeper. Biba, so good, and then I shall do. And I pay a bill to a letter. Near me, they can say, Ghana for, many honorable can the power, use a letter. Yes, but you're more than paper chocho. Paper chocho, no dear. I didn't baby, I could do any paper. I'm sure that behind this, apart from the police information, Japan immigration for a year, security services, Omoyan, Abanakasa, on making sure that some key stakeholders do assist in more. I say, your workshop normal. Now, I'm sure I dare friend terrorism. Terrorism, I'm not saying you create a man.
And only him for they say, yet to me, yes, our workshop in a moment.
I have focused on what I say, radio representative, media focus on, teacher focus on. We should have some way of getting in touch with key members. Somebody message me because they matter. At the end of the year, no people no crowd on say this is deeper. At the end, you only be crowd that you were having say, but only at the end, a young kid that was hand. Young be being found saying they are ending. But we need to answer one question. But Nigeria, a homegrown and a homebred terrorism and a movie. Boko Haram in Nigeria. Okwa Malia, Omu Mali for correct. Omu prayers, Omu Tiomo, and a Libya Goo and a Tuni Abu, not in Nigeria and not in Mali home. And a Munya Tuna, what the end of Moyano. Okwa Mali is a friend, Burkina Faso inside that. Omu Yaho. So Bisatana has said, a dear plan to my armor. Ghana inside Hana, young terrorists and move or background down to a terrorist. No, I could be a dear crime that is animal. In top contact, Obino Biacosa, and keep a brain. No answer. For Bokuna Colony, of course. Oh, the Ghana map at all. Now, massive conflict. Whether I say conflict to, whether I have for conflict to. Oh, back to map when I was a map or other conflict like those. And not mean we have about 375 countries across the country, and about 74 hotspots. Idea and center. Overcome national security strategy document. Also, youth unemployment is the greatest threat to our national security. Now, you know one when you see I call that you be a more than Siena. I send me a time of a member. The CIA of Muja Uruba Babayi, a dear part of the family. And I am a country near my answer. Sambo 4 at Mamu 4, arrangement the same. Bambo that, Sambo 4 at Mamu 4 Temu. The Bambo Yajma at Mamu 4, Bambo 4, or Moyonko Fano, a Koye. The Bambo Yajma, Mamu 4 Jababi, Bambo 4 Jababi, Bridge Nakula. So, yeah, I said, Bambophone, some making sure we need the confidence of Bambophone. Young Gideon or a Bambophone, who said you knew about here, I saw no for him say, you are saying for me there. Mean you are saying for me. Who police were about here? I saw no to him say, oh, what's here about who needs here? The quarter to me, it is said, mean you are saying for me. But a doctor, bamboy near Juma. Let's say, who police ni, who soldier ni, not all the on the club is Kumwa. Not your coin and a buy. You so you can do.
Nia ye pese ye hunu se modi abambo mu nsam no makomu yie to the international level aya na enuama ben na eda edima eye se tuate dom fui ebeba se womodu omani ebe kire oman bi so Burkina de Togo de Côte d'Ivoire aman so ya aman a womatwa ye ho ahia eti aya na enuama ben na ye beka se we ni betimi ya da edi editi oman bi betimi ay target.
But me look at example. As you say, Obia, Okita together our or February swell do. The word now war. A whole united dry. You to know she will not put more honor. And Javana by BSC. You see bushfire back. Yami Patron said, Sarah didn't do a more Okita Manchester. And also number one who keep your petrol go from. For who say who keep your petrol go from? Or parliament is back to the two bed. Really, never said. Not got not bad because, or no, I dare any dance of the same way if you. I dare better than that, if book room, no more book will take a charge. So, I dare I say, oh, yeah. Making sure say, oh, if you pay to a book room, oh, if you pay to a book room, or because parliament is a credit or top, I just never said. Invariable, any time, say, I dare every man is talking about who baba. Every man is work for. He said, everyone is so frustrated. Oko Babia, Obi to me besides the influencer of governor for home. May I show us that question way, what are the power? Influencer Kazana home. Who may say a coin, the hand swear yellow, the hair brain, the dear trouble, and the Ghana and Chia home. Minia, down your man people to other terrorists. I dear Moaya, or more empathy, or Muhunipa Mobo, or more respect, or Mubuni Papa. Ọdọ ọbẹkọ pọwa yẹwò wọn ní ọdọkọ àwọn yà àjẹ sí àbáyé ni owó wọn náà yàbẹ yẹ bíríkì bí àmọ owó wọn náà yàbẹ tú gbogbo bí àmọ owó náà bẹ ọsẹ dẹ yàtí ó náà yàbọ di ibi sẹ ọmọ òbúwa ìbílẹ̀tì pọ masa sáà díẹ̀ náà nípa ní ẹkọ yẹ ọrùn ní ọbẹka bí àmọ ìbílẹ̀tì pọ yìí nábẹ dídẹ̀kì because ọ̀ndẹ̀ ọ̀bọ ní bàbá náà ṣe yà ẹ̀ ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ sí àpò òwúrọ̀ àti ẹ̀dẹ̀ mọ́ Amẹ́ríkà àwọn ní nkọlá díẹ̀ nkọlá ní ìyá ní àjẹ òbí àpẹ̀ náà fẹ̀m ẹ̀ nà ọkọ̀ jáàmì báàgì tó bàbí náà òpì yẹ. So sometimes terrorism papa because at the person you are to brim and umbrella and I actually let us say I saw a common play mox play me na ye ba unim and ya saw the mox on pen in power who come market at the very go who come beach the very go who come night cover the very go who come more the very go at the other end or that crack they said now see ya they say national security for greater science message with how the 2013 example our professor could be a war.
Yeah.
As our example, which I said, and they elected a modus operandi their terrorists use it, and I was saying, and they are killed. 9 years ago, modus operandi are no more use it. Of our advantage, they are talking about global networking, and yet, so all of who terrorists are, they are globally networked, and yet you are what. So, if you are talking about national security approach, Ghana home or OJ. If you are talking about the sub-regional approach, OJ West Africa, because I didn't know West Africa, and you Ghana can there. A kind Nigeria, a country go back. Who's a country go, I can't go to work, I can't book in a position, be happy than you must hear. But they will share Mali and then. Boko Haram shall say on Nigeria, and then. Yet, actually, security where I can't be. You see, insecurity anywhere is a threat to the peace and security everywhere. Then I think we're not in Nigeria that I think so. Boko Haram, and then dear neighbor, issue statement, alert, OBI decision. But the assurance, Minister Maya, so security agencies, or many of which Maya. With one person or begin a new couple, not only of which Maya. Now, media, the soft power of the nation Ghana. Yan develop sa de na kita that sort of national resilience. So power ni de. That timamofo nyina be ka bom. I decided to yan crash. Yan ma obi awura ko yan yan chen pata. At the end of the day, you practicalization. Whether not what is that, not how to that, not on my bed, on my way, my yes, the power of the people is more power than it's more powerful than Obi by the rules of ABB. So young I'm born in ye.
Yan share a year a bra ye bokena bay, the ewo a year yetifi mantemodo. Say we're Catholic Church more kute tuya a tuono ultimate who say yes we lodu no aboba pa yim eye 2019 mo ye bisa say since that time ebesi ne asoman no aka bibia kire yen o sha ye tu anamon bi beyond said ya waka atro no because atro no man so keke eba aya na assurances eka ho eti wo cha ya bibia na
Because sometimes strategy bar and you need problem.
Okay.
But unam kroma adiba kwa hagin from Sadian near attaching and say ahuko kruha ahuko buha omo yadan yanim yankasa na wa ye judgment ye yankasa na wa ye policy yankasa wa ye as well as na sana ahuko bu from show adien no mo ye adien na mo ya mo bibie mo ye dwa be wa students so ya man kwa woni ba bi omo free and na prayer me ko bank say me ko menya kasa de ko to dia dia me ya do bank on that traffic sector traffic me hu se papa bi di bia be hwe me car ba ni da ne ye no gina ho o ka kasa dia me me fe de di me hwe na de wa o ti dress no be me nim say we on the Ghana we owo one nam cycle o ye de no be pia and o mu bebre in kolana spisu ba dia that dia no the basket terrorists they use so more akwala na ugu na otu mi ka be so na o se o sra o tika no obekita na ata obetia na di ma ya na o ni akwala ni nyane ma ya ofiri na ba ye unim de na obenye ma obi am bi sa atem unim ye wajuma ye
ye wajuma ye what can I say ana ye dia yam hihia ba beto yemu bisu ana
o mi pa cho national security minister statement on the buy I let the ba e the musician ba and it the assurance share alert letter no o ka cho se bibi isi o bibi ba o obi ahwe ne ye o obi anfa na jin bro ye nyina ye mbo ne ye o but ni nyina ti me ka chere o se number 4 no o me yiro mpa ye jumadin aje o ma ya ti ye eno e balancing statement sa ya be me ayi abema kukudu kakra say my me but statement of alert na kasa tell say they say I alert I don't know mission alert is you who by alert meaning we are point for you mission and a terrorist there ni oya mo ka na so make create fear and panic boom fear and panic no be adwane wu ni enko but adiba ko a eye won say ntokwa awon akoko nipa na won ni ku nim no baby a wada wonim ho da wonim na dakra wonim wonim na didokra wonim so e ade a e la boni enyem kai bonkwa ade a me de wasale ta mu se minister chiro no on kan tira so fon se mpa che mu bo mpa yi wan kan so mo se omo nya kwanchi ni ni o kan mu bo moni nda ho na nya physical things that we say that e du mu bia ya jinyame bia ma du mu bia so ya na de nyame so mai a ha de bia nsi wa ha ada yesi Côte d'Ivoire kono konzam na bom ana Burkina Faso e omu da mon kwasa ana to ko to mun ba to mu kai ya mi ba bia ba se wa mfa wa dia nsa ho ho na bia emra nya me de ma hono udi sa sa to so
Waje member of the Defense and Interior Committee our Ghana Mrashebe fie we ya de ese mo concern na mutimiji briefings bia bimpa no it doesn't mean for the public consumption ana
if I show that me no ka say ni abripa enye ade a yede to mfamam nyame aduma ye nyina bebo ama minister na ye adwuma ti say e ba security ayada bia me ka the security no party bia ni party bia paso bi ne paso bia ni party bia so so you see the NPP NDC security no masa Sri Lanka no collapse o nkropo chesi nkropo kunku nkropo kwa kunu collapse completely collapse it means tuaka they have about 75 million to be able to sustain the country. So that is how it is. The chronic collapse here. Obia na say I can't yeah. Oko filling stations is here na say this is 11 Ghana cedis per liter and at 10 Ghana cedis per liter. Masa, who ya NDC new? Who ya MPP new? Who ya CPP new? Won't mean for party card because the yena wa ban patch or monte so money. Go yena wa ban. Then the NDC ni turn sana MPP ni turn. So kunu head da yena ho betre. The more share yena na bebre.
It's a wish the rate at which now Yebeka say ye krumu ha ye sheno na as a ya ye ripe for a such activities.
Terrorism opportunities. Obia nipa no the wow terrorism obia ye bonia ma ono de otwa otise mercenary bonu kwa na opiadi so otise mo de mo kom mo wasikan mo kum hu no se and say environment I right am obo wuro ho ne mo ye na ono wa ya je na se obo wuro ho be boa mo na aye basa na o ma ye rekete na at ne obe hu an say ebia obia office o ya right aye ne no kon esisi no na ọ dị nkwa for bottle terrorism na ya recruit them that is at the na and this I say justice is important in every system in tokobi wa cha na there's not bread or mine in tokobi wa cha no mo show mo say this is justice at the na is justice without justice you don't talk about peace so no concept that how can you na all wrong Mr. Master you are totally wrong you can't continue like that because just Ghana. But if there is no justice, the people are not catastrophe. They are managing conflict management instead of resolution. They are managing a joke at a catastrophe. 2-3 years that's how you boom. They are so soon. Katra you are a catastrophe. One day, Betty home no open me that's fair money.
Wow. Okay. The SC1 crowns I'm about to do when you're the actually.
Me sure say me nyaga ja o china say nka me ko fe me nya doctor Dr. Kubdan pare na me ntia no na me manu die unim Inspector General of Police BBC wa familia o photo na eba na patitutu police fo akokum we IGP photo danim esu azem IGP photo danim identity na bisa bibi wa police wa no command and control the back stop with you ni ekosi wo babia tumu hamle without babia IGP ebi wo ko ni mo pe but what you have to do as Inspector General of Police master ukita ni baba 40,000 the ni baba e na ni bi so ogu ni masia ka wo 90 from na make sure say mran ba yajma o mo ankasa no emra e no mo de yajma the police ni ko fun wo babia and kata no so there is a thin line say we motivate the police from my yajma. Now, one make sure that the Mamufana Casa so many confidence of police. So, a better police here be not 1 year. But then not say at the end of 1 year. No much Mamufuni now who say, oh, IGP, what kind of woman for what come out of him? Nippona Sapa, Edia Pana, in Grasa Day. Niakos Master, the Nippon Araba, Arrow. Okokuma Araba, only with the Apoko saying. Now, on your Araba, so let's say intelligent failure now back in the Yakukum Nipaya, Master. Then you know, Ghana, and George Floyd, America. Derek Kokokun, police near Derek Okokun, ordinary, we go to just see the consul of William. They are jelly police, you know. We are seeing that so I say racism, and we have black in the Kuno. They are the local for their trying to jail, they say normal person, Okokum Nipa. The issue was granted, the American, they said, Union Momon Granta. MP or DC or regional minister can't say, Mammy, me quote on the Tommy one day. Ghana, you need revolutionary bureau. Don't you be able to inquire? Or when you go show back, or Piabon no acquire. It can't happen, and it shouldn't happen. Homogeneized from investigations and yet and simple first questions. What happened? Why did it happen? Why did it happen? Who is involved? Why did it happen? And how did it happen? The answers ask this question, basic question we know here. What did the report by 12 on here? Obi able say police for my year, man juma, but every way one them up, not with the impact chap. So police for my year, when they are here, I didn't need. You have done the right thing, and one year clear. But one simple thing, Inspector General of Police. Oh yeah, there, if a boy abaso, 1 year, there, get to say with them at home, we are nipa, and a 772 as IGP, sometimes young crumble, who knew she, regional commander, Kanokre, district commander, Kanokre, in Kolano Kumu, when I say Mokoye mistake, Ghana for you, yeah, there, 96%, 4% more I want to change. The Yasro Bopo, the Yasra Bopo, Obia Tiasia, but the people was uniform with the blue veiling, or the blue veiling bar. I didn't take now Catasso, and not Domophobe Buafu. But the confidence you are basing in the service, no, a bit jagu, or beyond your confidence was service no more. A bassa answer. I don't remember what about those police are there, who's a soldier are there, only man knows you, which means the Joti. Obia who are sure we know. Oh, sure we know. Yes, I know moral not conform. But me bomb pet the big babia. Moral I was more better. Confidence and the moment for 1 man police is not better. That balancing act no a very difficult thing to do. But as a leader, you must ensure that it is done. My police work moral and gospel. I know stress it. Or ya bonia, children say bonia way is punishable by law. Or ya the papa swap, bonabaso. Maximum for Niamusha and Craig. IGP, I did actually Patuho, no crack that one. O Cataswa, because I did all the 12 on here. I could have waited to do. Obama, so that be yet to know. People are soon Abona Manachina, I could reasonability in every report. That's what I'm saying. Reasonability, so reasonably, it is correct. Reasonably, it is true. Reasonably, this is justice. But I'm sure say, you can say, Ghana or Yaba, integrity builds a nation. Integrity builds a nation. What I'm trying to say, at the best, or to down. So in I am what about 1 year, I encourage I am in Grandam Ranch here, about Ajibro.
Because and then you bring information I hear picking from the ground, so they say, and your papa. One more she ties when we near police for the statement about the 2 gram IGP and Yabusian for Nakasa according to the statement. IGP to a highly powered delegation now. One more Konyamia Domochina and upon Modomani Chileho, Aqua share a said the situation or a tear a war home. Did you say be a little bit my Bibiana?
The pastor, I did a justice. Near Busia Povia justice. Near Ghana Povia justice. Near police Bonancasa, and some of justice. Well, in the spirit of justice, police I won't need rights on my Panasio. Police need rights on my Shitu Biakuno, if it is not in line with law. Who compare police woman one? The band and police need you to. In this particular scenario, kwachi arroba na arroba na kitu so bekunwa e patrol police na engineer of Germany fire no in time na the justification say because your life is in immediate danger o ya bia yenye o kitato na oja na obiaku na eto si nyenu emra no free e bia court ajeli obi e bia o ya child criminal ya jeli no o di na eko na so oba bia na e patrol emra no ngan shoot no emra no say ebia nye ko sisia ya master bakwa santi eno me ye confirm ese bakwa to nipa be se me sansa prapra o ko sisi style police station na kwa attack bu fo no te kwa attack ba police station na ide o wan kasa o ko so ja on o sika ka ho na esi ye police station na gara dia anya nkranza for dia anya akra for dia anya IGP dia na dia so o de dia ko tum na o shina at the end of the young kasa sika ye kasa di dia ko kwa. So, attack the police station, you are creating a serious problem for yourself. Nimaya, who cannot be. Young to a what normal we can talk about an independent investigative committee, no matter what but there would be a police station. No, I should go and jump at there. nyina sika na di shame o wie na asa be di sika ko yen tum ponta so edumre bi a ajibro na esi wa America no ye nyina ko demonstration ye ba binti ba bi ase ekokumkum nipa because sometimes it's not a good thing reaction ni bi o ha reaction cause more problem than problem na kasa.
Okay. All right. Honorable, Major Okre, mami bisa asem yo. Ye adwuma bi kakra. Alavanyo. Ye nyina ye nimidi a wo mo ye ewo ho. Eye nipa bi adwen se etu a amanfo ebo wo alavanyo ho no. Adenti na ye regularize yo mo. Na ya na ye hu se ye be restrict yo rather than say amanfo beko wa kodidi etu because adwuma kakra meka se bebriti awa bi mu ye nye kura nwie amama hu se na etu ahodo bi e wo montene so a ye yesusu se bi a efri eye police amri ana se efri baabi no emsa dodo na efri sa enclave yi mu eye nipa bi adwe se na omo ni mede ne ye regularize wo mo ana ye ne se nye ye on beji wadwen yo
me pa choma dasi me ma story tie video yi anu papa bi was friend of Honda Sochiro ye obi a ode car yi a ye twi a ye friend of Honda
yeah
the Honda CRV the Honda motor ye twi e obi di o let papa ya blacksmith ni papa ya blacksmith o ye dade ho djuma ana kwala na ni je ho e wo busua no ana akosu university akosu engineer ni ne maka ho when one mu na who the need say o be create motorbike and o create motorbike na car can say Honda bus dibia o or your local person and then uti gana uchi Honda when yaji obi wa ala vanyo a local day o mitimi manufacture tu yetumi ko Russia ko start with ba emre babi anka ya copy ala vanyo ko be say ni be 50 nega dia ko German na say Russia be 1 year omo ba na ya support amamo o me manufacture tu ama ya ye nkoko bie miwa omo natural skill na mo kita no o man banya compass so ade na say ye ka omo she o ka omo sha ade na e wonu modern mu no enyam na dia che no ko so school mu ne ba ye ko so school mu eno kwa ni paso bi ama ye na nyankopon dia che o modern kan eno so ye fa ye adwuma na kro ye kwa ye ade nyankopon dia che no ye fa ye adwuma ye ko so school mu ahun ni paso no eno ede na ma eno so emboa ye I think that it is time to be doing a dear part of Ghana, human resource Ghana, natural resource level. And I can get Paul Kigami kind of President Paul Kigami, who are gold, who are timber, who are boxer, who are Bibia, who could have run on in them in Groko now was restless. There is something wrong with that.
Okay. The best idea who ye teenager say, I may be right. Say, a human because I'm about 2 years to any of who question a media my way. Iti yade bekwa adwendwe mu.
That's perfect.
Beda say ena nwumre se waka ye ho ena wadwen kira wo de abre.
Beda say so se wa memre mama kire ni mum kaka. Ye nye gidi organa mu. Eno kwa ne ho, ye nko ba bia.
Yeda se yakopon kira.
Amen.
Yane eye wa central mrahye bedwani wa west mrahye bedwani na oye member defense and interior ewo eye Ghana mrahye bedwafie sa bedwaku ehwe ye bambo mu nsem oye retired police officer said ya eye ni nua ba ko no so ye retired etimani mu hey na wa ye executive secretary mpo e ama IGP dada utwem ayefe no eye yera apietu opanyi din eni Peter Lancheni Tobu ono na ye no idin komoi osofo adwen chirebra and the bamboo musamono, ye shani aka ho asempa. 2 statements from the Ministry of National Security. Yebra kanda pa. Ne nsema ode ebabetuja. Na eyade a ye hwe na ya toato adwen na ye hu kwan pa ye befa so sa abrofo mienu kra de o mu se de ni. Ye beto adwen na ye hu kwan pa menu mienu ye befa so e de ayem hihie bi e de aba beto so anase oman no o wa rehiem assurance a free eye national security minister hɔ ɛde aba bɛto dwa so far sɛn ɛna wo a woyɛ ɔman pa no nso ohunu fa are you rest assured na sɛdeɛ wɔmaka kyerɛ sɛ yɛnya atwɛyie yɛma yɛni nna hɔ sɛdeɛ mekan statement no de kyerɛ wɔ no o ma w'ani ada hɔ anaa mewɔ ɛyɛ Global Intelligence and Security Analysis Center executive director waha or your politicians belonging to the MPP or your retired police officer Nana Oguswapia Nana Memwakwaba
Jerry.
Yes sir.
Me das na me joso.
What to say?
You are dom so ye ho ye.
Yeah, the Janko pass.
Send am never huni. Say there. Waje kwachi of position na. And actually be an.
When is one more party position ma one more fire strong kono kan bi.
O kan ho. Everyone say kala ni bibia kama na sister anso di na chi born chidom kama.
Odo bi ba.
We pay ye. Odo bi ba.
And one now will count.
And the nature is a beer coye. Oh, yeah, the Yamias. Okay. And I do a ban, it's a muye, papa. Muye. And the my telephone in Ajo. Oh, the telephone say, Mamma Yaquina. Good. All right. Yeah. And then we said that I miss a cocoa for. Any abrofono, Emma Bishia. Yeah, Richard Manurubi. Uti region there or Richard also got a communication regional communication officer.
Yes.
Somebody have been Mugusu amo for registration
limited registration yeah finally normal to
okay.
On say the yana yakono boko enye to trust something no.
Oh,
yakono boko.
And who's free?
Oh, some catch us.
Oh, na more da be na my internal party elections are. Mo sa man you go for mo nya.
There is a uniform.
Enyam.
I'm the way.
Mo mienu
When one thing about we are senior man. Nti se be ba o shows na wa limit me. Nti ne me wo hono me de betu answer. The drum pempen so bia na e ka ho asam.
Okay. Yanto aso na ene asempo.
Na magde wa me se me hunte san. Am be sabe.
O na san wo ye?
Ama me nua abek.
Ana me bisa san wo te say na fire one de ni bi.
Ya be o me hu ye pa. Na me nua what he first time so me kokucha me hu no saboba. Me cross bridge de me hu no. And then the baby hu na potholes ni na feel say. No hu ya fe say. Na o sha ya so kofi na nko hwe saboba fo. O party aba power oni Samira. Mu dia mun kai mo root no.
O ya kai pa.
O de enyasem. Baba gya woni say wa menua o. Wa ya menua na. Tama na oyo opposing no. Na me krum na odi police ajuma. Na odi police ajuma me krum. Na abeto ne lane mu na wa yi afim.
All right. Better say etima wo say ho ye ide na ye nto aso. Enne a serious matter that we are discussing. Because you can't bambo munsema, and ya dear see the diagram. National Security Minister or the statement about the Bonte earlier on. Now, or the statement, you know, the religious bodies say, Omanyashi, public places, you say, yeah, nice statement. I'm just saying, every and also, forward that security background. OSEI organization na bambo munsem so ye ho adwuma na so far sa alert ya nei aba betodwa Cote d'Ivoire EBS yo ho Togo EBS yo ho Burkina Faso nkurunsi na etwa ye ho ahi ena na many Peter Lanche ni tobo ye kana say ayeseja obi num cigarette ni wagya to eye enwirem esrem na esrem so aye dry eye wo dry season and sana manhwa atre e de ababa be she. Are we doing enough as all mine and those?
Jerry me that's papa. I'm bomu nsem de ye mu biya na ye kan ye yi political dress ne to ya kan no senia mine no ye kan no ekosi
instance senya owura Peter Tobu kan ye no asumdwe ba Ghana na man ye yi a ye nyina ye dia ye bia no a ye di begu akwan mu na ebema banbo agina ne nan so no na ye mu bi aya na ye da bia no ye advocate for anase ha ekire penifo ene oman emma nyina national security my issue statement am say be in a week ni mienu enomo release. The first one was some caution to church management. I said one ma
the religious groups.
Very good religious group. I said alert and then so the other is almost similar general public. Nema bi na ma identify say it lack release in one national security at the abano. Omo de caution na aba. Ebra o interview yewura Tobuno can say so ma alert caution and so release alert. It need to synchronize with the conscience of the people. The nipa no ayeti o man no no. Ni awudi abetu dwan yeti ase. Nti yebetu anamo a esefata. Etimi esi how bi ebeba ano ase odi bibi betu dwana se eti se odi nkwaragu classroom na teacher ni no ogina ho no e kire o ma de na topic no they cannot relate to it emfa ho ne how skillful the teacher is no and we at the end of the day no on making impact bia e wo nkwara no da be na sa release ene let no caution ni adi no e ya akoye. Yeah, lacking said I was expecting saying that national security will give direct instructions to one more manage facilities. Baby a public frequency who be no as I said national security team direct instruction. Nkrofo more. Nigeria you more you say you're very open.
Yeah.
Minimum yeta the point is ube uremu akwaba. There is nothing indicating say ura muno bibi conscience and bibi sha ho kura no there's a likelihood of adiano being detected and I see ebehunu thought I say and that is where the conversation and the communication from the national security should focus. Say wo be man so say obia put this mechanism and I said this measures in place nti asoma si bia ewura entrance and wo wura ehonoma in and out no the body automatically has been scanned. But se oka se yemfa CCTV camera na yemfa private security personnel. I'm not downplaying the effect of those things in terms of security management, what it can be.
Yeah.
CCTV camera only help for surveillance and sometimes investigation when there's the need for you to retrieve information, be especially images, videos, and those things to establish a case. Before then, and if you know who a terrorist is, they are kind of people they don't care whether there is CCTV camera or their identity will be known after the incident has happened. Otherwise, Osama bin Laden in the group now want to share US phone. No, Munim say eventually they will be identified. Yeah. In fact, even the plane on capture, cameras won't be brave. Yet they had the courage to enter the camera doesn't scare a terrorist. What we use to fight or counter terrorism is a system mechanism. And that system mechanism, it's some way, somehow lacking. It's yemfrasiem prepare as a minor, I emphasize mano, enye juma. Yema free advice. Yes, sometimes I write to national security with some form of recommendation regarding some institutions I owe my emotion. But in this regard, I want to state it clear here, say the release to tell the general public to be alert and cautious of those things, it's not sufficient.
Okay.
Not sufficient because we are own security management won't hear there. I mean, Sabin previous exactly what to do to avert any situation.
But I know you can say you can bambo munsam na you one kasa. Inti yankan general public
na one kasa to the extent say this is a very complex topic we are talking about. Okay. It's not just to know ordinary cromfo. And I say a thief be and when you say we are just talking about the fact that those things are very, basic. They are rudimentals when you are talking about criminal, issues. And when you are talking about terrorism and terrorists and their actions. I mean, there are clear distinction between these categories of, or class of people or be a focus, any the intention or the execute the kind of target and any operations. And it is not easy. Over Ghana 400 ejina this year now be almost say what can one identify or to understand say potentially when you see her you can conclude say Asumesi is likely to be known as a terrorist. Jerry, you for Nipa 100, I can tell you say about 90% of them would not tell you what they know and what constitute. Some kind of prejudicial kind of thinking be about who a terrorist is because you know those kind of things, which are in these days of the way I name it is not as those times again. And to an amount say you bet didn't she be go akwam na san she na di go akwam no geared towards specific direction. The CIA metai can say majority you counter terrorism no. It has to do with the community policing models now. Yadi ya adwuma no. Then your system ebeboa yen. Now if you say how do we do the profile system of people eba in and out of Ghana? Those who manage hotels any adeno. What are the systemic measures omo use? Because the moment obi be free kotoka no atiesi Accra city numuno so huno. The person is likely to be roaming about and do whatever he or she want to do. At the end of the day, no asanso exit. Abra, yentimi notice say Asumesi bae na obedi na say na all chrono so hunu say ni and obey yenti likely information we kura no di free o man no mu a ode air cro. Obi atimi ba no kutekuta camera no twetwa mfoni ni wo ba bia na ode nenanenam. At the end of the day no ode ko. Na ode akwakoye ni project. Abra yen question no bibia. But say bia oba no hotel first point of place or kwako lodge no. You get there, the passport is scanned, and to some extent, your biometric biodata has been collected. So that's here. Into the moment the biodata of the person has been collected in the system, no, okoda ofri hotel, koda hotel B, the hotel B should be able to trace say Asumesi buy no before oba hotel B no, wafa hotel B, hotel A, and see onya the passport number no. Echo hotel B system mu pair as I said to me draw information that hotel any in our edeba. No, I'm not seeing those things to be effectively working in this our system. And that is the only modern way of fighting terrorism. The terrorists, if you want to respond to them when they have executed whatever they intend to do now, they have succeeded because look, they so pride themselves to say even the fact that they put fear and panic in the public, they have succeeded. Apprehension, they are able to put fear and panic in the people, and that alone is an achievement for them. And Tiansha say, issue statement in one near the adino, microphone, so mom direct instructions. I saw you on my Jerry Nipper come one Sunday and I brought 3,000.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Sorry, Nipper bet 3,000 Romuno. Entrance no ho no mu nyina fa edip ebi e entrance ba kwa na mienu anamiensa but omu nyina bo wuram sa no mo kona omo ba. What prevents or what stops them from putting machines and answer scanners at the entrance?
It's another now can say national security.
Give my direct
because COVID yeah teach you lessons.
Exactly.
COVID teach you lessons.
Those times my dia is here.
Baby mommy tay.
Exactly. The moment I will back and there,
it's often.
Into farm Mususwa. First,
a bed disinfectant.
Very good. A bed disinfectant. So I'm saying it. And secondly, it serves as a scanner.
Yeah.
And these are the things that we should tell the people, say, look, take these measures. Don't leave it open. Ujan open, say, uncover private security guard. Mind you, private security institution, private security is not your organ, has you know. And Jerry, the law doesn't allow them to be well trained. They don't have very in-depth knowledge in security management.
Okay.
In fact, even our traditional security personnel on the ground, some of them, they don't know how to assess threats. And these are basic things that Mijidi said we should look at. Now, I say, are we now coming up with a program it will synchronize with all of these stakeholders because why issue statement we issue statement what yatna. And I say you are now going to engage them in a forum. Now what you almost say, these are the red lines or these are the indicators muhunu say BBC likely to happen. Then you quickly give the authority notice of it. And now say the big terminals na ye woni nyina no crofo tutu akwan no pa wian ne anwumro mo komo bai obi on ma ye nya je ne bag pe ne da hye ka no butu honom sadien ne wom sadien ne wom ye dia hyem na nipa bia be 30 40 50 no nyina kogu bas no na pu akumase kwan so no de omo nam tamale kwan so bo kwan so I mean no de omo nam enti
anasa say one instances cry ye be chi amanfo a omaludu boto guns.
And no signing.
I'm passing through
yes,
the necessary.
It doesn't pass through anything. And Tianu so be a matty puffer. Even in Crawford the Codebia. But the system no honor Kwana say, as I would the moi. In fact, to me can't let me say, what the short arm. A besha now I call fat scanner muo, Kotoka, na would their fast play muna, abra yunu. Obviously, no. Because the systems are working. This is what we need to talk to the authorities. Say, look, the yedru mu se si ane ni aye pesi ye si ye boy ye ho ban ne yem pese e betu ye ni aye reactive no. These are the measures we should take. And this is STC, the manager of STC should know say free ne kro no. That dey we ye kwa akotobi ne de aba be si ha say passenger bia obefro basa e ko ba bia no. You need to pass through this. And answer luggage as a pass through this. Na yetimi hu say ampa ya bibia kwan so na so bi kofro a nipa kra wo fro kwan so kra no there's a way we need to make sure say nipa has gone through other processes and sign wo fro ehyen no but short as we want to counter terrorism. We don't want to respond to their actions and answer their operations e basa pe at the end of the day say nipa na be hwere ne nkwa nipa na hwere ne nkwa wi and at the end of the day say ejapade nso na be say a ejapade no asaya wi but short as enana minua tobu kase terrorists omu ye nkrofo omu was sympathy ne empathy ne ade I think say it was just lack of the appropriate word into all this idea ne share. What they do is that media mu on sembia mota use subterfuge. That is what they do. And they try to use that system to penetrate. And they say be or process have been preduasa baby no wura no ahwe the weak link.
No, were you sure no?
No, you sure no. And non chess or sympathy and also empathy.
Because of baby to achieve.
Exactly. Into that modus no and obey you.
It's just for Ben Adrian say or show sympathy to you.
Exactly.
By way of helping where you
use
the opportunity window be and what will be
no use to. Into nyomo yene say those who belong to some of those groups no omo indoctrinating crofo na omo adopt to omo no. They don't just come at a go and adopt you. What they decide to do is that they give arms and as a charity. Ebi amu hia nsuo community ho. No ma ya mamo. Ebi amu hia we no ma be wo ho no ma grant mo scholarship ni ade free ni ade. Sa ne ma nyina no mo ye. Nti at the end of the day no so mo ka se nkwara mienu miensa bi. E pese ye de omo kwa na say akwara no kro ho no so I want to go to this place and go and work for this foundation. But the foundation the entire US are very alert on these donor organizations. Say some of those foundations, they are terrorist funding agencies.
And no one share.
And this intelligence now lead to unravel all those things. That is how they operate. And you know, we should be mindful and very focused. Ebiana enye just talking keke o say yakotena se na yakasa kasa ni asori ni eko. There should be systematic measure in place say ade wey na ye tu hu anamo. Na anamo a ye tu no, your purpose ne say Ghana there with the population of 32 million no.
Okay.
We will not sit and wait for terrorism to take place and sana ya respond. Ne mumu no say obeba Ghana na obe free Ghana mu a before obe wura mu no at least with data there say yeah
biodata baby and will call yeah. Because as a serious nation madam will be called Canada or Canada and address
yes
address but excuse me to say on shed any making kind papa so 80 address no dey concern na one messy up the numbers no as how go so baby o kon meanwhile okuta genuine documents correct address no ko address bi dey back and my friend came back to Ghana your born about because he was unable
I mean,
say obetimi atra address
the accuracy of it.
Accurate address.
Exactly.
But meanwhile, not on no sabi.
And never been a
BT, no.
That is it.
So as a serious nation, I think
these are the things that Yemu be advocate say indeed we want to fight terrorism and counter terrorism. And yeah, I know any you can go and buy all the guns and all the sophisticated weapons and those things to come and fight them. West has all of them, but now they are not looking at the physical security weapons. No.
Yeah.
Now they are looking at a system that is so much synchronized. You can never come to the country and without being noticed. And only the main and the core area we need to look at. Now you say you can't porous border once them there be border see. Yes, I know what but say share. Say ye cities imu senia ye can say in previous and sorry ni adia
but the woman also say your porous border say nana and also we have to work on it because see it here now one more book na baby about 2019 our Catholic church boku and otowa etu ehye no ye ni madekro so nyame na ye yadom no mutima unravel until the can say your borders so no you too porous.
It is
too porous.
The challenge a woman say yanuma yatena no ho akekere yi menuan baby o mo no sabuba yendi e hono mo kono I can tell you say free yendi kura nkosi sabuba no a ne Ghana share border e wo Togo no ubenya route more than 10 ube cross river oti keke
na wo dey real
no Togo thought as here areas no unless you don't know it it will be difficult for you to say I mean say be to some fence work because route no do so ama
okay we see Ankara no woman
so afa hanom na wawuram thought as but eno akiri no say ye putu sa system ni measures ya make ho asem yi na say wo honom a say in security management there are some policies the policy itself fight over 50-60% of the actual crime because eno akra no prepare nkrofo na adwene mo hunu se ne awo kan ubeduru oman no so no se wo document ne oniema bi antoto yi a you be scared inti eno kra no you won't venture eno askare wo already one no akodwene ho ahunu se mame nkonkotu sa anamo we ya eye adebone e de beba no inti yanhwe in that direction me sure say ebia national security ne parliamentary select committee defense ni police ni all the intelligence community na ye wo no they will begin to think and not just to think only the traditional way but the modern way of making sure say yetimi the systems go why they counter terrorism no now I'm revise the policing modus jai the ordinary and the old system of policing need training no near and let me tell you am say on news no more YouTube another police for you office I say enough war baby na cells inmate ni gumu no to praises and worship to praises and worship not know say nyom na ikoso no break it do you get it so at the end of the day they succeeded in using
intelligence
policing I mean that kind of enyama no church or depo hanom no eso to sanse mu nugu na focus on near a modern type. And nipa na dwene no ne ho hia kese. So ahunu prepare na dwene no maninya the psyche of criminology, what it means for somebody to be called a criminal.
Okay.
Now want this anya manase.
All right.
Nya say ye ba na ye de omakotena hanom na ye sesa na tie na afi ye kuta bucket ni ye didi mrika ni ye fatigue ni ade. Within 6-7 months yes nipa na pass out. So when you obi opa disua parking kan na ne ye kire no nko ano a at the end of the day professional what choose no. He won't build it for himself professionally.
Okay.
Wonam na ushia no a ubetimi akase ampa asumasi is well equipped and na dwene no wasiesie no say adwuma no obeye. There's more to do.
Okay.
But mestre say apart from this portion and I say release a free national security na a vague no. Omonfa direct instructions emra nankrofo and follow they should make sure say nkrofo edebe adhere to those directives.
Okay, made us same. How you need 100 points to the message about one who so appear retired police officer our organization FK Bambo who say Global Intelligence and Security Analysis Center on the executive director. In fact, a politician belonging to the MPP, but when it comes to security matters, they are on far manual 70 Remocra. But we say Richard. So Richard. That is a okay. Richard, I'll let you about better about what do we do?
Yes, senior, ma mincha share what for subio na mincha the good people of Oti region and Kwantasa for na. Magere, I sama press release and there ya betina di ho eka ho asema ya di ho abobo na woka no. Okra was mami alert say it is not political issue. Yes, I understand saying a political issue, but Meanwhile, is a police officer, a very astute police officer, or investigation for what jailing Crawford, so you know what criminology is. What can the technical aspect of it? Very perfect. Ocean or the buyer, well equipped, perfect. Yeah. I will agree with him, 99% of it, but I have 1% of also shield the government on that. That is what I disagree with him because that's where the political lens comes from.
Not just also the government.
Yes, I mean, see, McJerry.
Yes, sir.
As someone there, National Security Minister Bekayano. Enye asamfufro ande di ho abobo enye asamfufro ande ka ho asem right down from the one ene chair commander in chief of Ghana Armed Forces say there's an insecurity. You know about it.
We are not in the state of insecurity.
No, so but we said
there is an alert.
Yeah, no, so we told you that there's an insecurity, and the people think it was politics. Beside that. No, hold on.
Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire. Togo, no,
I the executive director of Media Foundation for West Africa.
Yeah.
Obekaye. I'm for Chabono. A whole of Sanjona. A subabonting. Ebeka, Sansema, a course to extremism, terrorism, the possibilities about Ghana. Omokabi. And watch it. The EU reports are a buyer. I must see on my penny the NDC will win 2024 elections. No, that EU report. No, and also can I say Ghana stand the high risk of terrorism.
EIU.
No, sorry, EIU report. No, Economic Intelligence Unit. Almost some report now a buyer. No, almost see Ghana stand the high risk of terrorism.
Yeah,
and reports also.
That's correct. Yeah.
Also, the Women Rights Report, U.S. Women Rights Report, now a buyer. No, and also can I say the country Ghana also stand the high risk of terrorism. Before, now say utie Emmanuel Bombande. The report na ebaye na a Center for West Africa Counter Extremism. Almost report no. I can the same thing. I can about this terrorism I say. See, the fact and the reality in say security issue is a collective responsibility. And it doesn't see your political color. And then me say terrorism ba I say me yan term ne mini NDC for about 9 million NDC members no. Yanko guide say yan to me protect your president. So as the state will protect and not done Kwakufado, we will have to protect the nation integrity. So it's a collective responsibility. So I agree with my brother say the major solution, the embryonic solution of the insecurity or to make sure we counter terrorism is about community policing. Magdari, say you have proper measures in community policing now. We have nothing to fear. What is it I'm saying? Have you seen the discipline act in our motorists? Now say IGP deploy these motorbikes to all the traffic lights. You see that people don't misbehave. This is a clear community policing in the MTTD department. And he putting measures in place. Say areas na ya wono. So what you baby a what Macdonald say what utrasako yi. Now you deploy heavy security. Now microphone more used to you are a watchdog. Now my intelligence report about those things are. We will make sure we cover it. When you say in other jurisdictions like America, okay. But ube almost be what but area be in a minute or who say nipa ni lifestyle no na any microphone motu and bon bra. They will be able to do what? To quickly alert the police. Now say sometimes yeah about that there's this murder case in I find saying Kasua Ebayano. Mukum that young boy Ishmael.
Yeah.
You recall that one instance and Kranwa area or no move from some a dimbi or area where and Crawford watching ebefa better Range Rover. Or BBN to me and tell report that just say this is the intention of these children. At the end of the day, what happened? They were able to murder a young boy in a cold blood just because of money rituals. Okay, so it's a collective responsibility. I accept that. And saying you should name for a normal to 2 years. Most of that areas are the normally attack is the churches and the mosques. Then the malls. And then sorry now say I me took in the northern part of this country. Me drew that mall, Achimota Mall. As late as 2 a.m. Me ran mall ho. Ekwa ye and the person me SFE ho. Eba me call ye. Nobody, McJerry, nobody was able to question me. Said then and I me call ye ho. And they said if I wanted to go and plot the bomb, that would know that in the next 17 hours it will explode. How will somebody know? McJerry, who caught all the malls in this country? It has been left at jail, and you see millions of people going in and up and down. You can walk to the last departure of it. And in there, this terrorist was almost hitting the Ghana airport. You have nothing, you have no cause. It will spoil a lot of things. So in this country, the only place, say it will be very difficult for a terrorist to enter there and do his things, the Minister of Communication in this country. What is that? Indeed, all the agencies, all the secularized, all the institutions in this country, it's only the Ministry of Communication, the security measures are in place.
Okay.
You can't dare. Even you can't dare, but go to other ministry agencies. If you are looking for minister, you are looking for secretary, whatever it is, you have an easy access. Even at the seat of government. McJerry, have a flashy can nice for VA, not walk parliament, I want your MP sticker be their boss. What's a suit? And your 50 city note means somebody that two back. You are okay. McJerry do get honorable. Our major problem too in this country is about identity. People don't question people whom you are. All you need to do is to look good. Watch honorable. No. Watch honorable. You will be able to get access to the president. Residence of the president. What you need more call Dr. Baumia Fiedabia. Or call another for the Dabia. It is very easy to get closer. So our insecurity issues there, we have a lot of work to do. Then the media make us say if it's about see in our neighboring country that we are alluding say a terrorism attack is the possibility of what they are. It is true, the possibility might be there. But you say Nimna Adenibe to a Ghana ha, McJerry, we will not get our way out. Teminukasi. Unima flower pa. So do a flower border, no cross Ukotogwa. It is just one community a borderline the tour. Bra Edra pull out the station where Ebra Enfant Brand New Sabe do the border honor. As a Ghanaian, see the freedom over Togo honor, share the freedom of the Namaflao. Cross the same Kwashigame. When it's all do Ashigame, you cross that you enter the Ministry of Youth and Sports, the former presidency, no honor. To honor who Togo near a deal of the as a stranger. They will not give you that freedom of Mumma in this country. We tolerate strangers too much. It's the same thing that is happening. You care about borders. Home Affairs Ministry, that's the Interior Ministry. It's the responsibility of the Interior Ministry. That's all called the South Africa and other countries. They're from Home Affairs Ministry. They are to protect the interior. So, fear who are dog or girl on your defense. Who are Ajoma and a Kata. When they are interior, I know what them are. And Cranking Kitina or more a demono. And all those unwanted material or muchomo. That's the duty of the Ghana Police Service, the duty of the BNI, the duty of the Immigration Service. Oh, they have to look at that. Mark Jerry, the fact of the matter is that even people crossing people these days. Now say many young girl be kasaye. And I say now the boyfriend now in Nigeria ni. And I'm saying the boy no head but also say boy in the bar no akotwe no border no across na ba. And that is what is happening. That's of recent. Almost there was a jailbreak in Nigeria. And the people, the possibility of them was that all the Nigerians will be flying to this country. I think the Minister of Defense, Minister of Interior sent those notifications to National Security Ministry. So where we have gotten to know, the measures now even this panic question. I think the National Security because what I said here, what I'm for them question be Macdere. I'm for them come people are afraid of their lives. What do we have to do? What measures are we going to do? COVID-19 buyer, you say COVID-19 buyer. President have restrictions. Or just someone using nose masks. Where you don't get to these places. Yes, it is true that extremism, terrorism, insecurity is knocking into our door as a country. What are the measures are we putting in place, Maxere? Do we have the measures that we are putting in place? These are the things I say and share. So the president, the national security, the head of national security, I the president. And the national security minister have to put measures in place. Now say I realize all the generals in the Ghana armed forces in the West Africa, they also came to Ghana recently for a conference, and the defense minister spoke vigorously about that. So there's intellect. You see, national security before they bring things, and they have report, they have issues at EBA. You can't say people recruiting. We should only see people coming in only that will bring the insecurity, that will bring terrorism. E-terrorism is there. There's e-terrorism. And then Zoom, and then WhatsApp, and then Twitter, and then TikTok. They are going, if there are possibility, they can infiltrate in this system. I made a point to say, your friend is saying, the gayism and lesbianism in this country, they have huge amount of money in this country. Are you aware? In banks.
That's what we've been hearing.
How did they come into? It is money laundering. They do money washing. Magdalene, these people will take people out of this country, train them, come and buy properties. Or buy no, 3-4 cars. Magdalene, should be 3-4 cars. Over you come have no tongue. Then they deposit in the account to do operations. They come to buy properties. They do money laundering and do money washing to make sure they find their way. So it is not only saying the manual way of going into things. That is why the Cyber Security Department of the Ministry of Communication has to have a major role to do. I know say every year they have a cyber security workshops, but that's not in the Macdere. This is another way. Macdere say now say grand confirm here the two coin. People use the internet. We are in the global world. People use internet to train people. People are sorting people out through internet. So people don't normally travel. E-levy cry by, can you say e-levy? How many people even travel to go and buy shoes and this in other religions like Diva? They do e-money. So as the e-terrorism is another factor. So let us look at these measures they are two in place. But then you now boil down to what is the cause of the alert of terrorism? That is what we have to ask. But then me terrorism. Me Ghana versus the NDC and the Mampani John Dramani Mahama a possibility they can salvage this economy. Why? Because me say I have something doing. Because me say there's future for me. Because by the leadership of Mampani John Dramani, but there's future for me. The major problem they say as Imane Bombade Eka Asembi, or see the factor that engage terrorism is the fact that some young people are getting tired of the inability of the leaders to create jobs and making meaningful impact in the country. That is the major way where terrorism comes in and extremism. People are tired of government. People see that there's no hope. So all they want to do is that to eliminate some portion of people that they make. So people think people are amassing wealth. Obedient to me, terrorism by I'm telling you, they are safe. Obedient by Medina Market too. They will target some individual places. Trasako. And baby and comfort say big houses, big malls. I'm gonna say, Macdonald na media me come and Akuvi Banku base. Me call to me ni patri bet na wadi banku there. No be our restaurant when they target me. What do I have? So people amass wealth, people that are enjoying in the peril of other people. No. So when they get tired, terrorism comes in. So it is another major thing. Sure, in Ghana here, Macdonald, in 2006, okay. Before President Kufuor, the last time, no, there was a major insecurity case in this country, and that was water security and unemployment. Our Mutu Adjebe friend said Kufuor Gallon. What did President Kufuor do? He quickly deployed these water tankers from national security, and they went to various places to be supplying waters. What happened? People were salvaging because of water. People traveled to get water, but he was able to give a solution to it. Unemployment. And President Kufuor said, "Look, yes, the youth are suffering." And he said, "Yeah, let us bring national youth employment program." Then but before President Kufuor left power, it creates thousands of jobs. Mampani John Mills Bayano, wabe improve with so many models. Mampani John Dramani Mama Bayano, obe legal backing, creating millions of jobs under youth employment program. And the agency, and they agu. So these are the measures that say and share. The youth are not getting jobs. That is why they have been inculcated in terrorism. Now, young boy, away Juma Bank. Young boy, on Oya Juma PCF and Pious no say there. Uni some engaging in extremism and they will not do. It is boiled down to unemployment. This is the major thing. TSA Benus will say, they will cushion the unemployment. Now, youth no say there's hope for them. They will make sure that at the end of the day they will get a daily bread. Magdalene, obi also cry, and yes, kind of or person who so baby. And yes, at the end of the day, about try petitions you. No, try no ribia or ribi na ajawanya you and no obehu alaji biba ana penny biba no just oh yanko ananko your operation. Yanko your operation now at the end of the day 50 Ghana dia he will gladly accept that. Magdalene is the reality on the ground. Let us not sit here and talk about technicalities. Let us not sit here and talk about extremism. Let us not sit here and look at it say, Niesi or Togo, Niesi or Burkina Faso, Niesi or Mali. What boils down to that? It all boils down to unemployment. It all boils to high inflation. It's all bound to bread and butter. That is the cause of it. Do we have the same situation in Ghana? Yes. That is what the National Security Minister have to tell us. The unemployment rate, that is why we agitate the terrorism and extremism. So, you share information to create Juma. There's a solution for that. You know the solution? The president promised that they were going to move from taxation to production economy. And this is one factor now. It should deploy the youth into that sector. Let them get jobs to do. And can they get some John Dramani Mama say thousands of jobs? And can they Commander Sugar Factory and the Omabe Guru na Koswa? And can they shoe factory na Kosono? All the 48 factories on Mampani John Dramani Mama see no. Mumme nkofon babu nye juma ho na mu juma no go a nobody Magdalene nobody. I mean if somebody even earning 500 Ghana they know that he's going somewhere, he will not engage himself in terrorism. And yes sir, baby engineer he can make technicalities, he make security expert, security investigative journalist. And the government
not doing enough.
I'm Magdalene. I am not to talk whether the government is doing enough or not doing enough. I am telling you that the major problem, not to say, let us find a way to salvage this unemployment rate in this country, and this terrorism issue will stop. That's the reality on the ground, Magdalene. You need to be a when you call Kato na Magdalene Uti. She say every day Momo now send it to feed the youth. Magdalene Foundation, Magdalene family. Do you know the number of people you feed? You see something. We know what is happening. Don't let us pretend. The problem is that we don't have jobs to do. People are sleeping outside. That's all before between the fee. I'm a more good accommodation. Magdalene. Obi okromo bank one that bed suda. One that air condition musuda. That's all you be not the 2-bedroom self-contained. No, not 3 square meal. No, small square baby. One yana. Why don't you make this provision for the youth in this country? Actually, the pains is that the reality of the matter is that the unemployment rate, the agitation is that the youth are fed up with bad governance. The youth are fed up with bad leadership. And that is why we stand the high risk of terrorism. All the report has indicated that. Are you safe? Are we safe in the country? So maybe the National Security Minister, I admire him a lot. He's a conservative politician whom I respect him a lot. So I think, these are the things I won't say air cost, but we know, baby air cost. Let us find many young baby, young creative baby Magdalene. For the next 30 months, I'm about to have Kunjaso John Dramani Mara. There should be a rapid surge of employment. Then Mambabuna baby can cry yet. President Kufuor yebi, President Mills yebi, President John Dramani Mama yebi. Musumu yebi can cry. And see, all this is will not stop. Okay. Antidote no hanu Magdalene antidote baby a drone no. All
right. Rank high need 100.9 and straightforward. Yeah, share a year terrorism.
there is a lot of terrorism,
Straight to the microphone, because I go.
violent extremism, and all of that. A lot of misconceptions. And engumasuane research kakra yen mu bia ye no ya na ye mpese minua mi nyese bia ne o ka no me tuno into lower side of it, but research be breach let's say one more forming terrorist groups, they are not far say be omuni adwumaye o. They are people who are well organized, well resourceful, and very thoughtful people. Enti much as ye jitum say the end, sometimes they solicit the vulnerable unemployed youth to execute the target and as a operation. We don't also want to make the larger picture say unemployment and terrorism ever. There be where the focus no be a conversation as a now would deviate. And na institutional measures are.
But I want to say, what kind the weakness portion of which are Southway terrorists for no?
Yes. I can be say it's not completely say they don't use those people. They use them, but they are just about 1% of the operation of the terrorist group. And nothing I say your systems in the can send be the power say and no be bet matina man on it. Now I radicalize you be through the social, media system. And that is why even in institutions, there should be system. They check it and ideology. What did they talk about? What did they discuss most? What subject? And our Boswa Obi will take much intense interest in it to rise against you. So why do you mention this? Why do you do this? Those are basic things. We can look and identify and making sure say and more journey and also more react extremely to those things. We should make sure say we take second look at them and how they do their things. And my mano and sound employment there. Minuati sabim producer. John Mahama Bao China Kra be president of Ghana. 4 years now obedi no. On to me can't Ghana man nyina say unemployment rate ebeba be do 5%. It won't happen. And as our man say unemployment rate 1% crampo. Na say terrorists for say omo be operate here. It is not about 1% unemployed or 100% unemployed. In fact, at the time our man for strike bebre, Europe ne US ne ade no terrorists hit omo bebre no. You look at the statistics, it tells you say unemployment rate, was no anything factor that need to be considered. But high in the African and the Sahel, say the factors are constitute this radicalization, has to do with the fact that we have some weak, governance structures. And unti emankrofobia enya adwene bi de kohonom. Ya yantwe adwene nkoso ene say terrorist group biano ewo omo philosophical and their ideological purpose omo de adwuma. Enu nti se Al-Qaeda for ena sa aba a person omo be operate within this region. Omo ideas omo kuta no a omo ye very extremist towards or against Western ideas, That is what they try to indoctrinate people to hate or to dislike. Into your back catcher say, are they way free Western neighbor? It is something they have used to maybe hypnotize you and indoctrinate you as a will develop hatred. Ama dear way say. And the only way for you to fight this, no a catcher say, is to whenever you see this thing, make sure say you eliminate it. Then they will build your psyche. They will build a psyche to the extent that the moment I did before when you saw now when you be just walk around now person will say no. And nothing sometimes they rise up so hard and so resistant against anything. Sometimes kind of democracy almost say it's not something they need to accept democracy. And to be here baby dominate they want to have their own system and mechanism of rule. All reports and Crawford Benyan, yes, no credit, but when Mammy can be with Hanum Kakrabi and Chiro na fan to your phone. And woman way every United Nations or more the security charter no Omo nhwehwɛ mu omaye ene nsɛm omo ka about terrorism and what informs the terrorism no. I said there is no clear-cut pathway towards terrorism and no consistent set of factors driving terrorist radicalization. Profiles built on stereotypes or stereotypical assumptions based on religion, race, ethnicity, gender, socio-economic status, etc. are not only discriminatory but also ineffective. The point I want to make here is that yɛkasa nyinaa yɛbobɔbɔ nneɛma so yi na yɛkasa nkurɔfoɔ ni adwuma yɛ this kind of social status na ade nti no ɛbɛma nkurɔfoɔ ayɛ bɛkɔ akɔ involve in your friend say radicalization and terrorism ne hwan no nyinaa no ɛyɛ complete far from the reality. Nti sɛ yɛn institution na ɛyɛ mandatory to manage your security ne yɛn peace no nea so mo yɛ ne sɛ they should identify the specific group of terrorism now per se or be infiltrate or no. When you identify the group, then you try to analyze what kind of ideology the group subscribe to, so that when they are influencing the citizens, you know that they are likely to influence the citizens to go this direction, and therefore we should counter them by this structure. But without doing that, and you make a general assumption and general statement, it is wrong. I want to believe, say, ABA, national security, is doing this scientific approach to identify the specific microphone or say likely some penetrate into country. If they are not able, if national security is not able to identify the group, then I will entreat them to keep quiet, because it will be just raising fear and panic among the citizens, but we can never have antidote for it. We are saying here, but what you might identify say, okay, nkrofo no a omo sub-region imu no, omo affiliated with Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS, and now say this particular group of terrorists and omo associated omo hutu enti omo ideology omo champion and nunti ama omo cause terror attack in countries and omo kunkum nkrofo no. This is why they are doing that. And no na be my as a country no, yet many well-informed, calculated approach said this is how we are going to fight these people. Amajari unim enemy no, now unim the strategy. How do you fight and defeat him?
Yeah.
But short the mechanism. Yeah. And you cannot just randomly put things out there and say this is what yehunu na yatina inimuntino amanphobia anya dabi. Ebi kura no a omo main na modus omo de beba no enya se omo be free ase atoto sabio atuo ni ade o. There has been instances terrorists can even infiltrate a country by renting a shop.
There was a statement from the Ministry of the National Security and
yes,
or refer Yesu Nairobi, Kenya.
Yes.
Professor
Kofi Awuno. Exactly.
Ekokano.
Yes.
No, ka say yesi anybody. So modus operandi no one masesano.
Well,
it might be yeah.
Things continue changing.
One betimi asesano. It is what you kwa say no.
Now why are wrong? Anything America say identify the group, and then when you have identified the group, you know their modus operandi, you know their ideology, you know how they operate. At least there will be some case studies to guide you, and that is where you will focus your measures in making sure that you counter them.
Down in this background as what you are saying, because they will not just come out like this and come and tell us to be alert. My problem, me problem, let's say, what market direct instructions. Because
take measures.
No, yeah, or being cassette, engaging in terrorism, they are not just angry people. Yeah, understand. But why are they fighting? All this is boiled down to economic empower. That's what this terrorism and extremism, it's all boiled down to those things. And at the end of the day,
but an piano is maybe South says, some countries na one more the Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso. I want my strike honor. Saying that here, economic power is weak. Educational motive penetrate yana.
Can we also do that analysis?
Oh, sir, that na me build the banner. That soldier for ya see omo ku omo Togo. Unless of course the UN announce yen AU African Union one ye security charter no announce the Togo security institution in collaboration with the Sahel Western African community now they say you operate under one brother because of system biom they are too for security no they are able to bring reports, okay, and the report identify the group no mo take sa Togo for no mu kun omo no mo hunu the psyche of the group, how they operate omo modus e dey ntikra ne mo ko attack bia mama kan say mchiro they just want to attack them randomly no mo kun omo keke,
okay,
to put fear and panic in the people, just to do that because that is one of their means.
Okay.
The main measure of them, they pride themselves in the fact that they have succeeded in putting fear and panic, apprehension in the people. So they love to know and see that they are able to do all of these things. They are not necessarily coming to take charge of Togo and want to rule Togo, or they want to take the northern side or of Togo or whatever.
Yeah.
If the report established that there is some kind of inclination in the people said they want to capture the northern side of Togo and live there and rule there and take the people there as omunkrofwa and no sano and na yenyina betima adwene hu say no any agenda we ankrofo yi ede ba into no eyehu say probably kra no Ghana kra no enya specific say bia ye chieftaincy binti and I say land dispute binti and I say unemployment binti name no omo agenda ne say they are just trying to radicalize specific people be by hook or crook any other means be on betimi no. That is what they intend to do. And the force they are applying is to just make sure say omo are infiltrated by killing people. No mo di huni suro no ma capture place no na abaye omo jurisdiction. So what I say. Anima we nyina no post incident analysis and report no.
Yeah.
Should factor all of those things. Afei na yenya sanya minua yi kan. Well, the national security, I'm sure they will do all of this, the internal intelligence officer and the external intelligence officer, no, all of these things, na omode inform omo report any idea omo ebe so I say. But the best thing is if indeed they have all of those reports, then their statement we those in the government and have knowledge in security we want to see say it rather give the concrete assurance to the people, and don't just tell obi keke say kohan a private security number metina ufie one you know very well say o manyimu your private security you training just 3 weeks said na kwa kotene baby oni idea bia oni ntiase bia enunti the national security rather is rolling out a program, and that program seeks to now engage the people and educate them on the need to understand and know who is a potential terrorist and why they behave, how they behave, and why they target what they target, and at what point in time must you see this, and who constitutes even the cell of a terrorist, and all of these things. If we are not able to blow all of these things out, it means we are not, doing enough.
Okay, how you did 100.9, and then specifically we are talking about the security of the state. Yeah, share on mind of Bambo Munsem. Terrorism alert Babetuja. Saying ena eti edemau. And the national security statement, Wama kan wom say in fact one Bambo Fuono aye alert because we share the last paragraph now. Also, we urge the managers of public places and gatherings to be extra vigilant. We want to reassure the public that the security agencies and all those charged with maintaining the security of the state are working hard to ensure the safety of our country and its people, and we count on your continuing support in this endeavor. Internet say, one more my assurance said, though, one more air catch the earlier paragraphs, and say, Yakabambo Musam, no, so Wakasa Bayashi, no. Assurance, say, Bambo Fono so, able to in place. say ye betimi ehu say bibia embamba be fire no mu anase embamba fire say but Richard ya na me bisa ba ko ne say wo hwe eye Burkina ye che obi wo ho a na owo church a na etu hihye no everyone ba na say wo de wani fama ya ye bibi say are we prepared say staff we because I didn't go any ban ya che no go ya share dante who report to be out
yes
ya che report say ya che ne say na sa dwen bi na woni tin because sabre no na Burkina no ma strike wo ho so they say ana ekoba say nipa na wura mu aba be pie mu boku ho no na Catholic church a sa etuo yi ehihye no
Magdare hwe mamen ka se mechro menu aka me pese me nchira oni enti a terrorists at me back in some areas on by attack. I've just read something. Almost see why terrorists attack. It's number one, lack of political legitimacy and continuity is one of the factors terrorists at me attacking a place. Number two, perception of deprivation and inequality.
Inequality
is another factor. Terrorists is in one country can spill over into neighboring areas, and that is what we are expecting now. What we are expecting now, it is what those areas they can spill over into our country. Now, another one is inequality of gender is another factor. Is a widow opportunity when the violence can salvage in the influence of opinion and resources. Another one is resources, and that is what is happening in South Sudan. South Sudan and then Minuka say it's all about natural resources. Now, Minuka say the untapped natural resource in South Sudan is 38 trillion. Are you aware? 38 trillion. The on top of the United States economy is 3 trillion. But Minuka say South Sudan is suffering than any other country in the world. It's another factor. Terrorism ever. And these are so many factors. And in a country, terrorism, these are factors ever. Poor society with weak state structures. And that is why I can say all the state structures, that is the home affairs security. No, and so much year. No more measures in 2 years. Another one says state engage in democratic transition rather than state engage in democratic transition rather than democratic or autocratic regimes. It's another factor. Most of the states are anything terrorism ever. Another one, undergoing societal changes brought through modernization. And another factor, that is why when the gayism and lesbianism issues by LGBTQ, you know that so many countries were not happy with Ghana. You understand? So there are so many factors. Another one is weak and collapsed states that contribute to international terrorism. It's when the state is very weak and collapse. So the terrorists will come and salvage because they feel sometimes some also feel that they will use their power to salvage some individuals and make their way out. So we have so many factors. Even Ghana, I mean, you can say it can be number one. It can be this LGBTQ fighter. It can be number two. It can be weak governance. And you know how weak this government is. It can also be a factor. It can also be a factor. It can also be say Minu Kasai. In the northern part of the country, Tatale Sanguli, we are finding, is it iron ore or something? Yes, over billions of dollars. Yes, billions of dollars. And then you need bauxite. Some people might not even understand. It can also contribute into this factor. Natural resources, your oil, fangu, amount for a swindle, Minu Kasai, the mineral royalty delay. I can say, I buy person 1.7 gumi. And run them a kind of pudona from 2019 to 2020 2021 close to over $500 million. But they said you see a court tax saving, I can invest it. So factors that bring terrorism terrorism to me just say buying a caution in this country, no, and you have so many problems. Terrorism, and so we should be extra careful. There are so many factors. Because I'm finally almost see. Other countries, baby, I know about Togo number attacking, Mali number attacking, Burkina Faso, they are not their target too. They might.
Baby on person.
But they will come and do a preliminary survey. No more testing Mike 1, 2. And the very year some we know who say, oh, the surrounding counties are very weaker. Then they will tune into it. So, we are in the crossroads saying, and because it's a collective responsibility.
Okay.
It's a collective responsibility. Say you can be able to. So national security, they are very capable. I am telling you, in this country, apart from the regime security, and community and can yes was on your politics be man kabalism or my promoting to this Ethiopia na ACP. No namwa regime security. Apart from regime security na one. The government, the security system, some person we juma kroma, they can do it better.
Okay. How you need 100.9? Sir Alabanyo no more.
Oh, minimal lavanyo pa. Minimal lavanyo pa.
Nana appear so make I want to say you
Oh no.
So it's a question that maybe sir a year Peter lunch in Togo. There is a work ongoing no lavanyo. But I will say by the end of the day, you know, said you knew maybe I say you do there, but you say there's about to regularize your alavanyo.
Into atomic
security zone. Okay.
Yeah.
Put me target. Now the kind of guns, sir. You do have an idea.
Yeah, but that's my area. But that's my area. Say Alavanyo Nkunya. That's area. That would be called my area or the drunk one.
Tell the kind of guns, no.
Yeah.
I never knew.
I'm telling you.
Me ready about them. I've heard about them until the project be at me.
So you should understand.
The Yaki can be a new one now. One by finding when one more because the kind of machines are one more.
It's just like Ukraine. It's just like Ukraine and the Alavanyo Horn. Just like Ukraine and then if I say Russia war. You see, when people have a certain power within themselves, they will want to test their powers. And sometimes, yes, they want to test their powers. Alavanyo know the kind of ammunition they produce and they can manufacture there. You have no idea.
Yes.
And if you go to Nkoja, the kind of traps and the catapult they can also do, you have no idea. So when people don't understand the reality on the ground, the thing is
why don't we sponsor some of them?
Atomic junction, atomic way. We want to use it to test weapons and what. Say it was for the testing of weapons and what. Meanwhile, there's a vast line in Alavanyo through Nkonya through that area to Hawaii. And can these people can manufacture? Look, they can advance the ammunition and can Russia and Ukraine for Ukraine. We can even supply the ammunition. It is possible, yes. So we advance them. We can do it. See,
impossible.
Nature will position you in every angle. Side. You have everything that you can do in the whatever.
The kind of the natural skills, and the kind of machines, one more manufacturer.
Magdalene, who call the northern part of Volta region, the then Volta is now Uti region, to the southern part of the northern region, through that area, to the western part of the Edison, the Togo. All of them use all of our ammunitions. That is where they buy the ammunitions from.
Sorry. In the African country, yeah.
But there are small arms. Ghana, Alavanyo, yes, small arms. Yes.
And even with these small arms, you require alliances. That's in the global. Yeah. And yet, just like that, say, on Beppin to say, Yamagana, Aquenya say, yes, more capacity. No, you can build nuclear power and when you can develop it, but they will restrict you. In the same lane, in the same way,
the veto powers.
Exactly. They will not just allow till date. I'm no kase.
But
Abaya or what Ghana bet makase or better key measures to ensure say you better regularize it with this expert.
Yeah, one more.
But they have to make sure say the United Nations will have to come.
Apia, they have started this man for over 100 years now.
Yeah.
Before coming to
Joseph or to some extent, the global what manufacturing cars, and have to certify. Then the car, no, it is something I bet me.
One more pickup,
exactly.
Company
aside that, no, you share the psyche of the people. And sana, say, a peninsula, yemma quenya, nafi, yemma license, no manufacture weapons, and from my as minor. How is it going to impact? And Ghana, they will look at the totality of the whole African continent and say, how is that going to impact the general security of the continent or Africa? No? And see, it has a lot of dynamics. So yetimi yenanka yedi yehwanya sa tumi no ama omo so akwanya so omonya. Why not? Economically nka ebenya ho mfaso. But enya dia esese ye didi hu nkomo ekura no. Ye ka say the two tables so a ebenya that support Western approach and our Western world. It's not going to be easy. Not as here. Enti imagine say maybe after 2032 John Mahama Bana say obe consider.
Oh no, but the reality is Magdari, you can say
the experts they are there. Meaning say those times are now bimbilani adi. Enti yetimi hunu kwanya now boys ni be free one.
We have an atomic department in Ghana here. No, but Magdari, I disagree with Nanapia. Why did we leave the atomic land? Is it not to test our weapons?
But also, we understand treaties.
Yes,
that is it.
We understand
a process. A process.
The fact that you have
they started the manufacturing over 100 years ago. If you check the history of the Alavanyo, this manufacturing is over 100 years to 200 years ago.
It doesn't matter.
So it's a starting our term. You see, you're not a visionary leader. That's the MPP for you. Who trying to initiate the Mampeli Don Dramani Mahama? Why don't we initiate it? Say no Mampeli Don Dramani in future, no. In the next 50, 60 years. Say China. When China wanted to build their economy, what did they do? They picked some 3 key of sector of economy. No, so in the next 50 years, we should be able to get here. And they got there. Okay. I mean, you better start.
The global
I understand. But we can initiate
we can
initiate something.
We can begin conversation.
Yes, I mean
around it. The impact.
Yes, starting initiation. Yes, starting initiation. To put quite intelligent. Mobile and Anyajuma.
Oh, say no there.
Yes, starting beside
Anyajuma. Na mo share that year.
So me say yes, starting initiation. Yes, starting.
Professor President Kufuor Penso N1 year. You're starting where you
yes. So that's the visionary leader.
As government is continuing.
Remember, try again. Yes, I'm trying to manipulate John Dramani Mahama Ba. In the next 30 months, you buy starting baby.
Okay.
Now I don't know much John Mahama. Timunya democracy.
Okay. And me person me dilute two discussions with active partisan politics.
My Jerry.
Yeah.
Let's call a spade a spade. The police has to come.
Okay.
Where they have erred. Such as many Peter Tobuya.
Okay.
In fact, when you err, admit that you have erred. The statement to Crown Police Administration as Sandiabe Tujan. That statement no Crown Police. Distortions and inconsistencies. There's too much in the statement. And I respect the IGP, and I believe, say, the CIA, the Ekoso, Ewon Kranzan, Nkrofono, Nina, agitated, regional minister, no, I'm making statements. Say, and never be uncoy. Regardless of Tanya, Makocha, Brantiano, I mean, you cannot say Sentinel, I mean, the bush and phone, say, move fine, Nippon will fee. At a point, I'm over fan, no. A dear Ben, and a sea. Son, we want to see responsible policing. We want to see democratic policing. I mean, we commend the police at every point in time. We also want to see the yensaka police in informa wa form na say mrani ni dia mrani ni ndi e ba ni say na tu aka kwada no na mo ka say during the operation no he was shot as when and how ne ma me na busu afọ just some fan e wo
ba ko bi e ko so ezenu go bra say similar situation.
I mean so no. And no mestre say, you're building institutional trust. my public no say ye advocate say we should trust the police, we should divulge information, and I say we should be free with them and liaise with them, and making sure say community policing is enhanced to fight crime and terrorism. We should see the police being very transparent in how they handle some of these issues. Okay. Why must it take the people to go on rampage before the police issue statement on it? Abra Nebusian for free chrono so it tracy ya to Accra. Still nobody was willing to talk to them.
Okay.
It doesn't speak well. In fact, the government is not happy about it. And they should know, say, how they handle some of these matters, Sometimes it doesn't help us.
All right. How you need 100.9? What do I mean? Channel before 0302243 5400 302257 na maje wadwenkyerɛ ɛwɔ ahoma no so. Specifically, yɛahwɛ ɛyɛ security matters, terrorism alerts. Fana ɛyɛ kan yɛra kandapa Ministry of the National Security. 2 statements, one to the religious bodies, the other one to the general public. I want more catchere ye say yenya ahwe eti ahwe no wo ye no. Amenu adwenkyerɛ and then are we doing enough? Say ye betimi de aye ahoboa. Anya hwe kura ye nim say COVID ebefo enumu. Eti ye was our lessons in wo ho, ye was our template in wo ho. Eti say ye shomokena. Ye bi say ya boa ye ho. Regional say
Wala wow, no other act builder.
Or you can't be manager. I can't message you, man. Or same. I said to my good friend from Uchi region this evening that Ghana is grateful for the great asset that have given us. Because Mr. Manurube Richard is a very great asset, so I implore them to throw their support behind him so that he can become the regional communication officer. Very good. It's you know what? Sama kamba. What's it?
Uncle, umampele John Dramani mani wana na Dubai.
Let's all come together to expose people who try to involve in terrorism or terrorist activities. This will help promote peace and security in this country. Regards to Chairman Odeneho, Doko Apia, that's it. Wafake, new plan station, I'll say a hand is never again. Wafake. That's it. Yeah. I'll be calling about this. So, maybe I'll try me more, Joe. Majo, oh, I'm on a cat. Majo, and you're ready? Yes, sir.
And I'm on point to say.
I'm not doing what I'm about to one say.
Wow, near Alhaji Gado, Pusiga Liga.
Pusiga Liga.
Otia
says when you pusiga nigga beam.
Me a pusiga nigga.
Pusiga nigga, how to me found confirm.
My girl, and Ajima, oh, yeah, pa, the I'm quite so, but over we are there. Me, Mambo, and Ajima, Papa, or your mom, my Ghana.
Yeah, that's
my girl. Me see, and then Ghana, Nayo, you watch him, Gemuna. Where's he me MPP? Where's he me NDC? Where's he me CPP? I assume Gentina will be a 3 months or no. Nasa Chumjen, no Odma. Ube Yede. And to my girl, my teacher, or Malcolm Togo for being Mewa.
Yes.
You, my girl, my teacher, I conferred to a binuma starting near my body be on Mebuana.
Oh, when you conferred, yeah.
I conferred, I see forest movie.
No, yes, and you're no correct.
Sir, you money, yes, I'm not in the Now, my Gary, your best friend, young politicians to change, and one and young. Young, you know, young Dana Bambo, who wouldn't pan out winning in India. My Jaja, Esa, my election. Because Ghana is
okay.
Ghana.
Yo, that's yo. Yemfa next one na yenzo so beba choma do. Yes man, it is a
Adom enahwe o chiri amponyankopon de na ache.
Yeah, dey am yes, yet you.
The party wa uni awade nyina to pachi, maso mo taifa.
All right, you okay.
Mamin chama Manu Ruby, Richard, and Amadi Jibril, and Alhaji Habib Kaswa. chairman of Usampo for Chairman Joe, and I'm a man and I'm Lower West Achim Smamincha on our tortoise. A bring you until I make chicken in Titiana. Chairman Gay, and somehow the war chairman, you may pay some chairman for a woman. Maybe I wouldn't.
Yes, sir.
The war for me, can't say, wouldn't maybe okay, or who's me paying? Wouldn't me? The woman only pammy. The one medium to know, I need to be at it. Me do pa me pe wasam pa hwe ejina wo so na se ka kire na nado ani MPP se bi susu ye no enye no na mo ya bi do Nyankopon Ghana bitima ye but so feel say o premu aka no kra kire na nado e bia o yire kra be jawa ansha obi di Ghana nya so na nya o yire e na Ghana dia e friend say o chedi ampo dia sha o sa say
okay, Baba Jo, say who come na kosise.
Dia me come na kosise. Na nadu abamu any MPP leadership enye. Eye koto bi kuma. Ene ye ka terrorist asemmeboa.
Pepe.
No be chewe ni atu akire a. John Dramani Mahama. The humble servant. Ah, otise ogwama. Sebin prebiasa. The boy do be dia na ya timdidie. Name now or yet a ball or you cool person or could you get more two back Ghana in your software among the case you should apply common sense to passion the buana and the Asana Ghana I'm at you see your fine intelligence terrorist back Ghana yet you Mojina Nadu ye ni gongongo mo managing some shed ye see war in France.
Na me pacho when managing some ade ebiasi wo your neighboring countries Ministry of National Security issue alert aban entina so ama all the assurance na wo kan e be fufure
chama Matias woni ntie nkosi da ben ana as commander of Ghana Armed Forces on na do kan timidi cheobia e sinne the timidity and a man yama winning a city. She said, and the Tigana. Now yet to me, a quack will be a free name, mammy dame. A quack 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You can't say, well, it's before than it was no more than it was. And your first time I see you study, okay, Segils are down for more than you consider pain. And Nana do be disappointed Ghana say. Jamama J. In himself, then to me, Kassam and Intraso.
But that's
one of the one our platform no. We are both Kase. A buying Nanado specifically may refer to who because the buses end at your stop. Crack the ship, Kasa. To Tonyama ye, Nanyama Yaji Semua, sorry.
But that's it. Marvelous to one. You had to. The battle match.
Magdali, our friend.
Rapping it too.
Now, who are there?
Yankopado.
Yankopon Papa, a branch of Casa, one Casacha Papa. Ah, I don't know control who's the program. Mother, but my Bibiana fair mine. But President Akufuado, and I said, Torres and Magana. Mind this in the Musawati. They are man back. We are one people with a common destiny. I don't know mind this mission Mumasa. I want that's one Bema. Yes, sir. That the AC or Togo no. Eh, beer. Let's see what and national security is young way and buying. Now, okay, come on. But by the way, but you will watch Jacko, the Chava Papa, Royal Babia Samoa, and Professor Mia Kofi, Nana, and Mr. Atta, aka Iron, the first right central region. The Chamba Papa, Manoka from Yamre. Oh, who comes so?
Maza. Oh yes, sir. Okay. Me no man here, Juma. Me I can decide not to open the phone line. Something that make us wrong. But hold on, and listen to me. Listen to me before you continue. Me no man here, Juma. No. Me serious callers be drum on into na ya. E bring you shakra na be be. Listen, mon can be. As some mobile be yes allegation. Me 99% of radio stations are they will never allow you people to talk. Be a phone as a farmer, mobile, moving your mama, don't abuse that relationship. What did I make sure or no? Now you can go ahead with your submission.
Twaso kasa mitio.
Yo, entino. Mesrete. Obi amono and me like a market. No be at the party and money takwa. And I'm a matter obi the party the mania. Years no more share. And yes, or the party the mania. No I didn't want discuss. One money na one one buy any man this any MPPO. And to be the panic can market in me now to be the idea the mania. Years no more share in for money. And that's what the very much.
May I say thank you very much, Mam. Next caller to us. So, Meba Majo. Get you. Namia Domoko. Okay.
I'm in Fakwenya, the mammy, I mean, Chow Mompany that Papa be. Papa on your drink, Anna for one to Dramani Mahama, Papa, a chow. I'm in chat, I do, or Shama, or what deputy communication of that. Magdalene. You see, dear National Security Minister was saying, young was it, but on what we had was any day, young share one after day. Whatever.
Say statement in America and it's a one teddy. I mean, you free so not do tea, you know, into me passing the comment. Why?
You, my jelly. And then the one National Security Minister was here, Nami Fanalo, the animal. It's young company, say, Abba. You too, Anaba
Sana, what's here? One understanding, no. Okay, bye. Master Unifru, so my mama call BIBM, discard all the calls. I have the authority to discard all the calls. Say, your mama, you discuss it, issue passionately, waha. Very intellectual discussions with all the researches that we have done. Now, your banner say, you be 2 minutes, and my say, what is more partisan politics and about dilute issues na you discuss na people a binuma expect me catch a banner we are discussing security matters and you are just sitting down with that what make can say in fact my disappointed me call this honestly speaking and maybe I'm working with you anytime I try to open the phone lines for you I didn't go ya make a being beautiful lines is all about Bijana. Follow the discussions, then we find a way out. And then go for the same because why you on a president, of course, from on a president. It's now this is the situation with it now. I told you one I'll be home. Professor Wuno, Sana or shopping, eh?
Yeah, the more.
Oh, more or shopping.
Yeah, the more. But 60 people died.
60 people, including Professor Wuno. Nasanka Papa and Professor Wunanka the Ebianka won't find some partisan politics in the Bambi River. Let me pick your final submission here. Richard, I mentioned your final submission.
Magdalene, near Canyon, say, report Abbey, and American institutions, agencies, a man probably kind. Young political parties, Ekaye. So I say, you know, Yakai, the most important thing is say, you have to come together as a nation to build the economy. Now, so because we say and share, we come together to get solution to it. It is not all that political, but our bands say, I won't see any amount for Eka. We share the causes at which terrorism, extremism, the government has a major role to play. But Jerry, the reality is that there's an incoming commander in chief of Ghana Armed Forces, incoming chairman of Council of National Security Council. Your friend, Omampeni John Dramani Mahama. You were bearing baby a friend of John Mahama or some Bumagana for you. You be born a day, I'm a man saying you know who say, or you're bearing baby a friend of Mahama. And the reality of the matter is that in 7th January 2025, the Omampeni John Dramani Mahama Free Independence Square, na Magjeru, Namona Pius, Namu, swear in His Excellency, or just saw the new year. Say Bakromuha, you drew flat staff house. Magdalene, we will turn around things. We are very capable, Magdalene. We will make sure, say, Magdalene, we will create more jobs. We will let so much. General alert. We will put measures in place.
Focusing a jobs.
Magdalene, we will put measures in place that Ghana will be an untouchable country. We are capable. We are capable, Magdalene.
Osama bin Laden, attacking US. Now US na jobs in you.
O Magdalene shall answer you jobs in you. What does Joe Biden care? Or see Oba power no. Now unemployment benefit. Now there were 20 million people. And on about 1 million. and they are measures that it picking up economic indications there or why a year more and then the person ben be yet McJerry. So you see I think sometimes me dry was me corner me dry was na my hey na my penny John Dramani mama but no ma say ye na my hope and am come new nti na ma be fine why
said their callers in here is be na why their callers in here is be na why oh
McJerry see
kwase obemount ma ayati
nana uzo
ka Mahama na otia
kunya so de menim say sa na uzo be
Mahama na otia kunya so na o ka say onye magician e no de sika gu nkrofo botom e na okoka kire Ghana for say onye obi a obetima pa adwuma mo ya into de ko IMF ka kire ne say the conditionality no say ma onfa nkrofo adwuma enti John Mahama otena so no na ne penso no almost 3 years na ya freeze employment public sector enti sa ne man nyina no se mo ka yenim se eyese bi onsem hunu ene non factual Ghana for awani da so e wa rohemu wo na nadurado nkwa akufado mu because me no ka say policies e dia gwa kwamu nyina no ma good resource to see education and then nyema nyina ekoso kama metima ka cho say ukuro mu kura akọ no ma infrastructure ya expand bebrebe ko sabuba ko hwe ana oti we na kokohwe ubehunu ni nyina ekoso intino echese ye adepapa employment me no ka say day in and day out no aban we nurses and one more women health workers teachers no na unwe school no akotena fie be 2 years o dabi uwe school no an wa chekura bi a 1 year na replacement aba no akonya adwuma ye. This is what Ghana people well, Ghana, nursing doctors everywhere.
Ghana.
Now that you buy who did someone move your school? Who did someone move your school? Oh, what are you talking about? 2019, every 2019, and do you know how many staff are Abana employed? Oh. Majari.
Me one fast say Dora TV say Dora. Dora school 2018 19 3 years down the line.
Be specific.
2018
2019 2018
no 2019 say academic year 2018 2019 academic year 2018 2019
so hunu
3 years
just be specific
3 years
say you wan crofo a omo ewie school no 5 years no munye nda so say e be for omo adwuma but at the end of the day no omanya adwuma ye so what I say and then me know what I say just last week or so and a Ministry of Health issue recruitment document edit to hono mo omo ba be fa health for bebre and nyina ho na mami nwie no wa kana sema women can with the nwie closing say mami nya me closing remarks ultimate ma ba betena abra me moye wura Mahmoud ba omi adi ana ono abo John Muhammadin on pesa me so abo Dr. ba omi adi ami asa body din because yewura Mahmoud ba omi ana Ghana fo nyina wenda so arehemu say and then ye wiase ikoi economy na say adwuma no digital economy around the world and around the globe no yewura Mahmoud Baumia de be baba adwuma enu nti yenya gidie wa rehemu minim ye pa say 2025 then another danko akufuado free so a ye hand over ama MPP aban enya ndc fo biu enti Ghana fo ntia say John Mahama watwa tro kese pa ye watwa tro kese ohun so o say 11 oba obe ye free ho oba o ntimi nyi free because so if through ho no ma o de Ghana be san kwhye IMF we de Ghana kwhye IMF only sika mfa adwuma efo enti John Mahama onye alternative me di wie na me can say national security no they are ready, we will protect Ghanaians we will protect Ghanaians enti no bia nsuro me hu mo bia
medama se pa azemo adi se call se na cha se na babu ro mo and I Richard Manurubi so. Okay, anyway, one of free beyond that say one was said the best with them some share Facebook live, YouTube live with them say. Get the media they say obi akwa akofa eyo okraman bulldog okraman enkraman kakrake abrofo kraman bi. Yeso oko hu kraman no graphic road no so. Editi say wonim say bulldog ayina. Say mo we kwa na comedy woman no mu di se huni. Ubu dog ayira me sraw pa o de friend number we say graphic road no so and na wo mko hu kraman o ma report nyina wo police station nti what if 02011627746 so fra you better baby a bulldog no 02011627746 so nim so bulldog bi ayira ne titiri wa graphic road no so baby a 02011627746 within the Mark Jerry or say Agyeman Pius be the band that say now we have been a woman able to Dr. Father Dixon now executive producer fully supported by my general manager Kennedy Asantio say Persia Body and supervisor engineers me da obi ase me sorry there DJ Bosco e be born yo me Nyankopon e sure bibia yawada ye be say hia e wo Torchlight so neat 100.9